Ikamoto versus Toyotaro, who is the better successor? Okay, boom. So if you don't know who Ikamoto and Toyotaro are, Ikamoto was essentially the successor, the artist for the Boruto series, the successor to continuing on the story of Naruto via Boruto, whatnot. Like, while Kishimoto is overall like the god of the series, Ikamoto pretty much gets things from point A to point B. So like, if let's just say Kishimoto says, hey, this is gonna happen right here, it's Ikamoto's job to, okay, well, how does that happen? I gotta connect the dots to get to that point or whatnot. So that's how he is the successor to a certain degree for the Boruto Naruto franchise. And then for Dragon Ball, Toyotaro is pretty much the dude that is doing the art for the story, and it's kind of the same aspect. Although now with Toriyama passing, I'm not sure how the structure is going to be for Dragon Ball moving forward. It's a very complicated thing because, one, I don't want to disrespect either of them because I think both of them are brilliant. I think both of them have done incredible jobs. Whether you hate or love any of these things, like, you know, obviously most of the Boruto hate always comes back to the anime stuff. That has nothing to do with Ikamoto. So scratch all of that out of your mind right now, thinking, oh, but this, and no, scratch all that. We're talking manga, and manga stuff is very different from the anime. There's not all of that fluff or whatnot, and the Boruto manga has always been pretty freaking good. Pretty good to great. You know, like when we get to the Ishiki stuff, great. When we get to Boruto versus Boro, great. When we get Kawaki flaming up Garo, great. So Boruto has always been pretty freaking fire. Dragon Ball Super, I think a lot of the main complaints had been between like the readaptation stuff. Nobody really cared for or wanted really readaptations of movies. And I guess sometimes like the finale of the battles is something that people get really upset, like how Goku beat him, it doesn't make sense, or it's just a Goku and Vegeta show. So those are kind of the criticisms that Dragon Ball has had. I'm pretty sure that it was not Ikamoto's decision to go forward with Boruto. That was the higher up saying, hey, we want to go forward with the Naruto verse in one way or another. And Kishimoto's like, well, I'm not doing the last manga. And they're like, all right, what about Boruto? And he's like, I get the homie to do that. We'll work together or something. But so Boruto's inception was not Ikamoto's idea. And then I want to say I don't believe the same would be for Toyotaro. I don't think Toyotaro just walked into Shueisha one day and was like, yo bro, we're doing this super manga right now. So as far as like who's to, I don't want to say blame, but who was the pioneer of either concept, you can't really say it's either of them. So you can't fault them for whatever people may like, oh, we didn't want it to be all about Boruto, or we didn't want it to be all about Goku and Vegeta. So then you take those aspects away, and now you just gotta judge it based off of its merits. And both series have been pretty freaking awesome. They have their issues or whatnot, but I mean, I love to look at Ikamoto's art and then how far it's come from chapter 1 to Two Blue Vortex and where we're at right now. Like chapter 1, it was a little bit of an adjustment, you know what I'm saying? Like we went from Kishimoto senpai in his peak with, you know, the Naruto 4th grade ninja war, and even when he did the Sarada Gaiden manga, the 10 chapter spin-off thingy, like that looked incredibly gorgeous. And then you get to Ikamoto and it was like, all right, Sasuke clearly looks different. We had the Professor Snape comparisons, and you know, there was some aspects that was like an adjustment. But then when you go from there to where it's at right now, and how one of the major things people always say is, oh my god, Boruto's designs and art is just so freaking good. Like bro, look at Boruto, he's the drippiest. And obviously that's an aesthetic thing. I don't personally focus on the, oh, it's all about that. But I'm just saying, to Ikamoto's credit as an artist, he's come such a long way, and it's so beautiful to see how much he's grown as an artist, how much the story of Boruto has grown, how much the character of Boruto has grown. And a lot of that, again, I'm gonna give Ikamoto his credit. Yeah, Kishimoto had the points, but you don't get there without extra substance in between, which Ikamoto provides. Ikamoto helps to get it to where it needs to go. Boruto going from the spoiled little kid that had the world and then kind of lost it all and is slowly piecing it back together. You see, little by little, one by one, people are looking at him in a different light. It's just been beautiful to see the character development of that character. There's other aspects like, yeah, I really wish we would get more inclusion of the previous gen. Like we get a little tease here and there, like, oh, look at Sakura, oh, look at this one, oh, look at that one. But for the most part, it's just, as far as the new gen, it's been really great to see just how much Ikamoto has gave the spotlight to these characters. Like, we're getting a lot more of that, and I think Two Blue Vortex has helped to amplify that, because prior to that, Ikamoto was mostly allowing the anime to do like, yo, Team 12, let the anime handle that stuff. And then in Two Blue Vortex, we've seen them in combat, we're seeing some of the other characters, we're seeing even Himawari, bro. This blew my mind, and I'm not a numbers guy, like of, oh, you know, it's all about the numbers or whatnot, but peep this, right? For every single stone that was thrown at Boruto and at Ikamoto, Ikamoto in particular, the third most read manga chapter of all of 2024, the entire year of every manga out there, every manga, My Hero, all of them, the third most read chapter of manga was from Boruto. It was the Himawari chapter where Himawari let loose. That was the third most read, bro. So for all the stuff people say, oh, nobody buys Boruto, oh, this and that. People love it, people support it, people reading it. It's just maybe the execution and the marketing that needs a lot more of a fine tuning in the background or whatnot. But for the most part, that speaks volumes. The only thing that topped it was, I think, Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man. Boruto did its thing in 2024, and Ikamoto is mainly to credit for a lot of that stuff. And also, it's dope to see, like, I like to look at, and that's why I like to talk about the mangaka a lot, because it's almost like you get a separate journey of seeing the mangaka and whatnot. Shout outs to, again, seeing Ikamoto go from, like, what some would say a rookie mangaka, because yes, he was helping Naruto since chapter 7, but he wasn't doing everything art wise since chapter 7. I'm sure he was helping with shading, backgrounds, helping redraws, stuff like that. He wasn't handling all of it. It was Kishimoto. So it's so cool to go back and see from the very beginning of Boruto to Two Blue Vortex updated chapter of his progression as an artist and as a creative. I love seeing that. So Ikamoto has done a fantastic job in growth and development in all regards. Toyotaro is a different story. I mean, don't get me wrong, after episode 12 of Dragon Ball Daima, seeing Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, even if it's in that, you know, kid mode or that kid look or whatnot, I would love to see Toyotaro take a chance at drawing Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, because his art, not only has it improved, but just as a whole, it really fits and suits what you would expect from Dragon Ball, and more so has leaned towards maybe the anime look opposed to like classic Toriyama style, although it does to a certain degree kind of give you that same vibe and that same type of art style that Toriyama did later on in Dragon Ball. But regardless, like that being one of the groundbreaking things, I would love to see it from Toyotaro, because again, art wise, he has pretty much executed immensely when it comes to these character designs and making things look really awesome. Some of the characters from Granola the Survivor, or Granola when he had that long hair design or whatnot. Toyotaro can cook. I don't feel like Toyotaro, like the art style maybe has gotten quite a bit more detailed in certain aspects, but Toyotaro came swinging out the gate with Dragon Ball Super. The Dragon Ball Super manga looked great, pretty much off rip, and looked very close to Toriyama's designs. Now, there's always been that rumor that Toyotaro was that dude, Toible, that did, was it Dragon Ball AF? People always assumed that he was the guy, Toible, that was the original artist for like a lot of Dragon Ball fanfic. So this guy has been, if he is indeed Toible, he has been drawing Dragon Ball for an extremely long time. So you get him to this point, if he's drawing fan mangas for years and years and years, yeah, it's going to come off the gate. He's going to come swinging because he had so much experience, opposed to just like doing a little work here and there on the manga. He was making full-blown Dragon Ball mangas. So he didn't really have, as far as art goes, a long ways to go. And even story-wise, I just feel like the approach for Dragon Ball has just been, for Dragon Ball Super's manga, has just been so different than the approach for the Boruto story. Like Boruto was genuinely like, yo, let's grab a new fan base or whatnot. You know, let's move in a different direction. Let's get this new generation and let's grow them. While Dragon Ball was like, bro, we lit. That's how I look at how Dragon Ball approach. We're lit. Just make some stuff that you know the Dragon Ball fans is gonna love. Wow. Dragon Ball, there was a lot of issues at first that people had with, you know, why are we redoing these arcs? Ikamoto had his work cut out for him, that he had to establish a whole new generation of characters that nobody wanted to see. Like realistically, nobody wanted to see an Ojin. People still have a problem with an Ojin to this day, but nobody wanted to see these characters, and Ikamoto has done his best throughout it, whether Kodachi was involved or not. He's done his best to make people actually care, damn near to even, you know, little Himawari. While everybody really wanted to just see Goku and Vegeta, and they got Goku and Vegeta from the rip. If the Boruto story was not about Boruto, if it was about Naruto and Sasuke, then it'd be a different story. But regardless, Dragon Ball Super and Boruto have some great creators behind the scenes working to make these stories what they are and what the fans are really enjoying right now. Subscribe and hit that bell to get more. Maybe it's you, or maybe I'm just self-reflecting. The God in me, so I believe. No, you like the way I move, you say it's true. So vibe with me.